So it's, for me, Klara and the Sun is beyond a sci-fi. And I thought that was brilliant because these are the type of books that, it's good to read books that would make you kind of step back and think and want to talk about it. Even just to yourself, na parang how do you feel about it? Hi everyone, this is Paul Loves to Read, and as you know, in this channel, it's all about spreading the love and joy for literature, and we hope our little channel helps you find the right book for you. For today, we're going to share you about this book. It's called Klara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. It was published in, I think, just this year, if I'm not mistaken. 2021, yeah. So it's fairly new, but it's like an instant bestseller because of the well-known author Kazuo Ishiguro. The story is about Klara. Klara is an AI robot. She's a highly intelligent robot who dreams of being adopted by a loving family so that she could serve this family and love this family throughout her existence. It's very simple. It is set in a time where and when robots or AIs are the norm, and society accepts it that we actually adopt AIs and we call them artificial friends for our kids. So that's the setting. So meron siyang may pagka, if you're just going to look at it from that angle, it sounds like a sci-fi plot, right? It sounds like a sci-fi genre. And I guess if from that perspective, it is, because it has an AI element to it. It's a story of a robot wanting to love and be loved. So in that respect, it is an AI. But again, it's more than that. And that's the brilliance, once again, of Japanese authors, right? And I say it again, Japanese authors just have this ability, and no less Kazuo Ishiguro, a very well-known winner of a Nobel Prize in Literature, not for this book, for a different book. But, it just tells you that they really handle such delicate subject matters and turn it into something really sentimental and really something tender and humane. So it's, for me, Klara and the Sun is beyond a sci-fi. It's more sentimental than your typical sci-fi. Yeah. Philosophical, yes, very much so. It tackles that human conundrum of what makes us human. If your AI starts behaving and speaking like humans, are they human? And then, if they act human, should you stop treating them like non-humans? And where do you draw the line, right? Do they feel emotions? It seems like they do. I mean, like in the story. And I'm sharing this because I think that's the point of the book, right? I think the author is really is telling us this story as a form of a question to the reader. Like, where do you stand in all of this? Like, what are your views about AIs, about humanity, about what makes humans humans, and where does your moral compass lean? So very deep and very interesting. In general, this book is for those who are fascinated with AI, but not necessarily told in a cold manner. This book is for people who wonder or contemplate about a life where robots will be a norm, where AI would be a norm, right? Where and when that kind of reality is actually possible. And I think for me, a person who loves sci-fi and a person who really appreciates these types of stories, I enjoyed the book because apart from it being about an AI, it's really about questioning us as human beings. Where do you stand about this whole thing? And how do you feel about Klara's ending? I'm not going to tell you how it ended, but that's the type of question that would come out after you read this. And I thought that was brilliant because these are the type of books that, it's good to read books that would make you kind of step back and think and want to talk about it, even just to yourself. Na parang, how do you feel about it? What are your opinions about it? Do you agree with the ending? If not, why not? I wish I could tell you the ending so I could share more, but I wouldn't spoil it for you. But But yeah, this book is for that, for those who love to explore a different kind of reality from the current one that we have now, but at the same time, a reality that maybe is not too far off, if you think about it, right? AIs are here. Maybe not for, maybe, not in everyday access to everyone, but it is here. The technology is here. So, kind of exploring that possibility. And I imagine, I don't know how many decades from now, this could be a real thing. Okay, if you're expecting a sci-fi type of AI na parang, ano ba? Parang mga hardcore, like the William Gibson books, sci-fi, this is not it. The Matrix, not it. Fantasy sci-fi, world-building sci-fi like Dune and so on, not this. Completely different, right? Because this one, Kazuo Ishiguro, Klara and the Sun, while it is about the AI, it focuses on the other side of it. It focuses on the human side of it. What makes an AI, and what makes them human? Because that's the brilliance of the AI, right? You build these AIs, artificial intelligence nga, di ba? And you build them, they're so efficient, they're so smart, and we build them at the latest and greatest technology so that they can mimic the way we behave at the closest possible way, right? So if you could imagine that you're sitting next to an AI who looks and speaks like you, so he explores the other side of it. They're AI, but they're not behaving like one. Klara is AI, but she's not behaving like one. She's not talking like one. She's talking like a human being. So that's what this book is exploring. The other side of it, I would say. It's very sentimental. The book is very sentimental, very atmospheric, very, it's all that. So it's a different type of sci-fi. I don't think you would appreciate it if you're looking for something simple and something in your face, right? I don't think this is it. This is deeper. This is, if you're going to read it and then take the plot and the story at face value, the events in the story at face value, you'll probably be confused. You will probably think it's not making sense. You will probably reach a point wherein this is ridiculous. This doesn't make sense. This is stupid. You'll probably reach that. But that's the point. That is not, sorry, but that is not the point of the book. It is not meant to be taken literally. It is meant for you to think 2 or 3 steps deeper. But because if you take it literally, yun nga, it would confuse you. You have to keep, by the way, this is a first-person perspective told from the perspective of Klara, who is an AI. Okay? So of course, if you're going to take the events literally from her perspective, it probably won't make sense sometimes. Kasi nga AI siya eh. But that's the thing, right? You have to go beyond that. You have to understand. You have to see it from the lens of an AI. And she's telling the story. So it's brilliantly written that way. That's why it's philosophical. It's a little deeper. You need to question. You need to ask yourself and try to, ang tawag nito, you have to try to, ang tawag nun? Put the dots together. Ano? Yun. You have to make them match. Connect. Oh my God, thank you. You have to connect the dots yourself because it's a first-person perspective of Klara, the AI. So her telling of the story would be different from a human being telling a story. So she will be telling you things that you would be confused kasi you're not experiencing it as an AI, right? Her experience of something is different. So you have to connect the dots yourself. One of the astonishing takeaway and realization for me after reading the book is our mortality, human beings' mortality, compared to robots, right? And how time can be finite and how your mortality plays a big role on how precious your life is and how precious your memories are. So again, diba, that's kind of deep right there, and that's because of the book. So it's like that. It's that type. And in conclusion, it's a great book. Again, written really really well. Ito na naman ako, the usual description when I talk about Japanese authors, they really have a way of delivering a story that has a massive, massive subject matter, but then they really break it down to the important elements, right? To the very important elements, and then try to simplify it for you and they make it tender and sentimental. But my new word for this book, it's very atmospheric, I should say. It's an atmospheric book. And you really feel it, you're there. He brings you there. So that's a different type. It's a silent na naman, silent type of writing, silent type of book, very somber, no dramatics, very steady and tender, but then that's intentional, I thought, because it's meant to make you look in you. It's meant to make you question your own thoughts. So it's very sentimental. So yeah, so there you go. I hope that helped. Thank you.